Okay, so we will continue. Uh, so what we ended with is that our job now is to minimize beta, and the expression that we have here for u transpose u hat transpose u hat is basically y transpose y minus 2 into beta transpose dash x transpose y plus, okay, so minimize beta u hat transpose u hat equal to y transpose y minus, I'm not going to do the, the old school, that old bigger structure of taking n simultaneous equation and differentiating them. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. It's huge, it's space taking, and it's not elegant at all. Okay, so minus 2 into beta hat dash x dash y plus beta hat dash x beta hat. Okay, so now our job is to minimize this. So using matrix differentiation, right? So this, I mean, in composite notation, it's like it's basically any other differentiation. So u dash u hat transpose u hat del beta vector, right, equal to, so the first term, it doesn't contain any kind of beta, so this becomes 0. Then the minus 2 1 beta hat, so it will be, after differentiation, it will be x transpose y, right, and plus, so here we have 2, so instead of that, so this is basically square, kind of square, so this will be 2 x transpose x beta hat. Okay, okay, all right, so 2 beta hats, right, and this will give us 2 beta hat, like usual differentiation, and this x transpose x remains the same. Okay, so and so our FOC will be that this expression del u hat transpose u hat del beta equal to this becomes 0, and from that we can find that x transpose x beta hat will be equal to x transpose y. So our beta hat will be x transpose x inverse x transpose y. Okay, now observe this. Our x was n cross k, right? So the moment we have taken x transpose x, x transpose x, it has become a square matrix. So this one is a square matrix, right? This one is a square matrix of, so x transpose is k cross n and x is n cross k. So it will become k cross k. Okay. And now for a square matrix, you can consider the inverse. And here, if we have any problem in data, then that problem will be forwarded to this x transpose x, and while taking inverse, we will face the problem. Okay. So that's one source of problem that we'll be talking about in multicollinearity. All right. So this finding this inverse will become an issue. Okay. So because of that, we must write that provided the inverse exists, because in some cases we will have we can encounter a problem. Okay, so now we will look into, so since we have solved it, now we will look into this x transpose x. Okay, and we'll see that when we expand x transpose x, the matrix that we'll be looking at, it will look so similar. It will actually not only similar, it will give us the normal equations that we have found in two variable case and 3 variable case. Okay. So let's look at this X transpose X. Okay, so what is X transpose X? It looks like, okay, first let me write the matrix. Okay, so it will be a bit huge. So N in the diagonal elements, these are the elements. Okay. And for the off diagonal, much like U1, U2, see if the first row, sorry, the first column of X was 1, right? So if so that delegates to the construction of X transpose X. I mean, that delegates to the normal equation structure. So here, this column and this row, they will be identical. So X2i, X3i, not XKI, sorry. This is not N, sorry, this is K. Okay. And here also X2i, X3i, sum over XKI. Okay. And what about the rest of it? The rest of it is pretty simple. The rest of it is our our symmetric structure. So X3i, X2i, and here will be X2i, X3i. Okay, and so on. All right, so just write it. So this will be XKI, X2i, right? And somewhere, and in the same way, here will be X2i, XKI. Okay, so now if you look at this matrix, you'll find the general nature. Okay, so we have the square terms, we have this multiplied terms, and we have this one also. So if you put that in our equation, so this is our X transpose X, right? So if you put that in our X transpose X, beta hat equal to X transpose Y, and if you reduce it for 2 variables, okay, so for 2 variables it will be this much. So I'll write that separately. So for 2 variable, we'll see that how it becomes identical with the structure that we have or the normal equations that we have derived. Now, 2 notes regarding this, okay, this matrix, so about X transpose X. Number 1 is that this is the raw sum of squares and cross products, by which I mean that the sample suffice the calculation of X transpose X, right? So it is, this matrix is in terms of raw data. Okay, and number 2, which is far more important, is that it is symmetrical. It is symmetrical, but obviously that is quite easily observable, right? X3i, X2i, right? Okay, but symmetrical in terms of what? Sorry, this one, then this one, and this one. So, okay. So it is, let's finish it here. So it is symmetrical. Okay. And we have seen that it is of K cross K order. So it's a square matrix. Now the only thing is that if we don't have to make some compromises regarding the data, or we don't have any problem in the data, then the finding the inverse is very easy. Okay, so like earlier also, this result that beta hat is X transpose X inverse X transpose Y, this is the fundamental result. Okay, this is the fundamental result. Now we will look at, I'll just mention the components of this equation for a two variable system, and you can derive at home and find that the beta hat becomes identical with the first model that we have solved in terms of keeping those equations. Okay, so that will give you an idea of how this whole generalization is actually at work. Okay. So for two variables, case, you have beta hat, beta 1, beta 2, right? And then you have X transpose X, which is, so now we have, okay, now we have space to write them. So it will be 1, 1, and so on. And that will be X1, X2, X3, and Xn, right? So sample size is n. So X transpose X. So with this, we will have its own transpose, which will result to, as I was giving a dotted line in X transpose X. So this will take our first 4 elements, right? So sum over xi here, and sum over xi square. Okay, and then X transpose Y will become sum over yi and sum over xi yi. Okay, which will obviously, where just to write it, so where y will be this y1 dot 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 yn. Okay, so this gives you an idea of how this generalization really works. So at home you can solve this and see that the result becomes identical. Also, what you can do is you look at this X transpose X and compare to the bigger matrix, the generalized matrix that you have written, and you'll see that the first 4 elements are basically this one. Okay, so then we'll extend. Obviously here you will find sum for xi yi here, and if I okay, so xi yi here, but to find terms like x3i x2i or x2i x3i, sum over x3i x2i, you have to extend the model at least to three variable case, and then you will have the first this is 2 cross 2, so then you'll have the 3 cross 3, shall I say, submatrix. Okay, okay, so that's a bit of mix and match to understand. Now we will go into the variance covariance matrix of beta. Now why we are interested in this variance covariance matrix? Because you see, we have found beta, right? Beta hat. And since we are in CLRM, which is of k variable, the Gauss-Markov theorem that must also hold in our setup, right? Now to find that, we need this variance covariance matrix of beta. Okay, so variance covariance matrix of beta hat. Sorry. Beta hat. So what is it? This is this. I mean, by definition, this is this expectation of beta hat minus expectation beta hat, right, into beta hat minus expectation beta hat transpose. Okay, so this is what we have to find, and if I extend it, then obviously it will look very similar in general structure to the variance covariance matrix of the matrix of this one, U transpose U. Okay, remember this one? Yeah. So we had variances in the diagonal, and covariances in the off-diagonal terms, which we assumed to be 0. Okay, and for the variances, we assume that they are constant. So here the general matrix also will be of similar kind. So the diagonal elements will be of variances. Okay, so that will go to beta k, and the off diagonals will be covariances. Okay, and here also we have this symmetricity, with which now we have become quite used to. So here also we have this symmetric nature. Now our job is to find the value of this, keeping in mind the things that we have assumed at the start. Okay. So first we'll look at the, so what is the answer? The answer is this: sigma square x transpose x inverse. Okay. Now I'm not going to ask you to find it, obviously. So let's look at the assumption here. So obviously, homoscedasticity, right? That's the one that we have assumed. Homoscedasticity, and obviously inverse exists, which is trivial because otherwise we couldn't have found beta. So we can eliminate this one. So homoscedasticity. Okay. All right. So let's look at how this result comes out. Okay. So what we will be deriving now is specifically this. Okay, so this is the result that we will be deriving. Okay, so this is our OLS estimator, right? So beta hat is equal to x transpose x inverse x transpose y. And let's write it like this. So this can be written as x transpose x inverse x transpose, and y is x beta plus u. So let's write it here, x beta plus u. Right? So here you can write where y equal to x beta plus u and so on. Okay, so that is done. So now we are going to open the bracket. So we will have x transpose x inverse x transpose, and then this x beta will be multiplied. So here you'll have x transpose x beta, and yes, they will be cancelling, plus we will have x transpose x inverse x transpose u. So what you have to work on is this x transpose u. Okay, so the next line is beta plus x transpose x inverse x transpose u. Yeah, okay. So that gives us the expression for beta hat minus beta. If you can remember how we worked out the variance of beta in our proof of Gauss-Markov theorem for the two-variable regression model, you will see that the approach remains identical. We are trying to find this, and then we'll go for the variance. Okay, so this is what it is. So now we will go for variance covariance matrix. of beta hat. Now, just to mention in passing, this shows us this shows us that if I take expectation beta hat, then it becomes beta because they are non-stochastic and expectation u equal to 0. So that allows us to write the next line as expectation beta hat minus beta into beta hat minus beta transpose. Okay. All right. And now we are just going to write the expression. Right? So this will be x transpose x inverse x transpose u. Okay. So let's just add another bracket to make it look okay. So x transpose x inverse x transpose u, and there is a transpose. And here goes our second bracket. So if I now open it, what will happen? It will follow the same rule, but obviously here you have the transpose. So it will be like this. So first we will have, okay, so there will be x transpose x inverse, right? This one. And then x transpose u, so it becomes what it is. And this is, of this we are taking a transpose, right? And remember that this one, so when I'm taking a transpose, what will happen? The order will just be the opposite. So u and then u transpose. So we have x transpose here, so it will become x, and then it will be x transpose x inverse. Okay. All right. So now the job is pretty easy. Now we will just know that these all x's are non-stochastic. So the expectation will directly go to u and u transpose. Right? Okay, so let us write that. So x transpose x inverse, x transpose, and then expectation u transpose. Okay, and then x transpose x inverse. All right. Now this u transpose, this becomes our sigma square. So this becomes our sigma square, right? And if I take this sigma square out, because I have assumed this to be constant, so if I take this out, then sigma square. And what do we have here? We have two x transpose x inverses and one x transpose x. So trivially, one of them will cancel out. And we have the result. Right? So we have the last line here. I'm just not writing it because it will look more clumsy. So here is our sigma square. These two will cancel out and x transpose x inverse. So we got our result. Okay. So we have found the variance covariance matrix. Okay. Now the next thing that we are left with, obviously we have found the variance of beta, that is variance covariance matrix of beta. So the next thing we are left with is what about the estimation of sigma square? Because that was our next job. I'll ask you to kind of look at the ordering, the order in which we are studying this and the order in which we have studied CLRM, and tell me if there is any difference. Okay, because we are doing the same thing with a k variable model. All right, so now our concern is an unbiased estimator of sigma square. And here earlier, I'll just write the sigma hat square for the two variable case, and it was sum over uy hat square by n minus 2. So here you have seen that this sum over square and all that can be well represented by u dash transpose u dash, and this n minus 2 becomes n minus k. Okay, because k is the number of parameters, so the relevant degrees of freedom is obviously n minus k, and this becomes our sigma hat square here. All right, so in matrix notation you can directly see the link. So this is our unbiased estimator. And now remember one thing, that this is important, that okay, remember that the unbiased estimator, or rather the unbiased estimate, I will say, of sigma hat square. Okay, let me write estimator. So the unbiased estimator of sigma hat square is obtained after beta hat is obtained. Right? The reason of writing this is that we know one form of this u hat transpose u hat. We have used it while finding the normal equations, and the form was this: u hat transpose u hat was y transpose y minus 2 beta hat x transpose y plus beta hat transpose x beta hat. Now what I'm saying is this: I'm saying that the calculation is done after we have found beta hat, right? So now if I put in here, will it be appropriate? Okay, so if I put here that beta hat is essentially equal to x transpose x inverse x transpose y, then what happens is that in the next line it reduces to minus 2 beta hat x transpose y plus beta hat transpose x transpose y, which becomes y hat minus y minus beta hat x transpose y. Okay, so this is the expression of u hat transpose u hat that we will be using while calculating the unbiased estimator. Okay, and this expression I just showed how it is obtained from the structure. So that's why error variance is only obtainable, because the estimate of the error itself is obtained only after I have beta hat with me and I have found the the estimated y's. So that's quite natural. Anyways, so now we'll go to R square, and before going to the R square, we will just state that so before going to R square, we are left with one thing, and that is to show that we have here also the Gauss-Markov theorem holds. Yes. Okay, so Gauss-Markov theorem holds. That is blue property, right? So best linear unbiased estimator. And here we have beta hat. So that's our vector. Okay, so we'll start with beta hat, which is x transpose x inverse x transpose y, right? And now we know that x is non-stochastic by assumption, So here to this part, we're looking at fixed numbers. Okay. And as long as this is just a matrix of fixed number, and y, what is y? Y is a vector. So what we are looking at is basically a linear combination of vectors, right? That's what we are looking at. So there is a matrix and a vector multiplied, and there is a vector. So this is a linear combination of vectors. So we have the first part. By definition, beta hat is a linear estimator. Okay. And we have seen that expectation beta hat is equal to beta, right? Because from that expression where I get expectation beta hat as beta and x transpose x inverse x transpose u, right? So from that I've shown you that this is unbiased. So unbiased estimator as well. Okay, remember one thing, when I'm writing that, when I'm writing this, it's not that beta remains beta and so on. I mean, what I'm trying to say is there is a middle line where I write this kind of trivial line that this actually equals expectation beta plus this thing. And then I say that beta is a constant. Okay, then I say that beta is a constant. And then I write beta, and then in the third line, in the next line, I write this, okay? Because beta is a constant, so expectation beta equals to beta. You can easily see that it is almost identical with what I have done, or what we have done. So now we're going to look at the minimum variance part. So this is the minimum variance part. The last one, and yes, the bigger one. Okay. So now we are showing that beta hat has the minimum variance within the class of linear and unbiased estimator, right? Do not forget that. So we are assuming we'll be considering another linear estimator. Okay. So consider another linear estimator, beta star. But since we are in the class of linear and unbiased, okay, so we have these two. So we have beta star as linear. Okay, so like this, which is linear and unbiased. Remember one thing, that this is quite important. Okay, you can construct another estimator which is probably not linear or not unbiased. Okay, I've written this extra. So consider a linear estimator, beta star, which is unbiased of beta. Yes. So what I was saying is that, remember that you can always construct an estimator which is not probably linear or probably biased, but which has a much lower variance than beta hat itself. Okay. So the theorem holds for those estimators which are a priori linear and unbiased. So when I'm considering another estimator beta star, I'm saying at the outset that it is linear and unbiased. Okay. Then in the next step, I'm finding the condition of from beta star being linear and unbiased, and then I'm showing that okay, I can't have another variance, another estimator which will have a similar kind of a functional structure, but which will have variance which is less than of beta hat. Okay, so we'll do that in the next session.